Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I am Arya Alam, Executive Director of Financiero Consultant. Dear participants, we would like to welcome you all to this live session of an innovative idea to alleviate poverty through Islamic financial system. We know these days poor is getting poorer and rich is getting richer, and the gap is increasing. A poverty elevation solution is required. Today, Mr. Faizan Ahmed will discuss a solution to poverty problem. Mr. Ahmed is a well-qualified Islamic banking and finance professional with more than 19 years of experience. He is Chartered Islamic Financial Professional Malaysia, Certified Islamic Professional Accountant AOFI Bahrain, Certified Sharia Advisor and Auditor AOFI Bahrain. Currently, he is working as CFO in an Islamic bank. Let's hear it from Mr. Ahmed. Over to you, Mr. Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum all. Thank you for joining. We are also live on Facebook page, and live streaming is going on different modes also. Today our discussion is about an article I have written for a magazine where I shared this idea regarding how to alleviate poverty through Islamic financial system. Currently in market, if we see, many Islamic banks are available all over the world, but all the banks are working on different consumer, corporate, and different sectors. But still, poverty elevation sector is very negligible. So my idea is to propose a new idea which can be done through some financial model, through financial institutions, or if any individual can work for themselves, right, to enter into different partnerships and this type of things, it can be work like this also. Basically, if we see in world right now, poverty is like after this COVID effect. Okay, before going through, the chat box is open here and on Facebook also. So if anybody have some queries, questions, anything, do let me know through chat box on Facebook also and on Zoom call also. So if we see poverty in 1990s as compared to 2015 and in 1990s, poverty is going down all over the world, and the benchmark which World Bank is using is $1.9 per day income for poor person, extremely poor people. So initially it was like in 1990 it was 1.9 billion, and now it is 736 million. But if we see, all this gap is reduced in or we say first world countries, but still third world countries, especially Asian countries and African countries, still this gap is getting higher and higher day by day. If we see the effects of COVID-19, so during this COVID-19, the gap is going more and more day by day, and we are seeing right now in different modes that people are helping each other with different sources. Like they are distributing ration bags, they are giving cash to the people who are in need. Many people already lost their jobs, and not only people who lost their jobs, there are many people right now in around the world even they are getting their business are impacting very badly because they don't have now cash flows. And if we see, cash flows are not there, so they are not able to restart their businesses after this lockdown is going over. So they are also basically reducing their staff strength. So from the business and both perspective, it is affecting the general public. If we see graph of World Bank, it is from, like I just discussed, it gone from 1895 to 736 million people. Okay, if it is going down like this, that not means that we are doing something very extraordinary. But if we see worldwide, purchasing power is getting down day by day. But if you see the percentage share of people, which was 35.9% to around 10% of total population. But still, if we talk about this 10%, it is regarding the extreme poverty level. If we add here the normal poverty level also, so there are different aspects. If we see, there are different people who are facing day-to-day struggle, and especially after this COVID-19, many people will not able to restart their businesses, especially SME businesses. They will not able to restart. If we see that they are not able to restart, then what is going on? Obviously poverty will go up. Right now we are just facing the pandemic situation. What will happen after this pandemic situation? We should come up with some innovative, some different models which can help us to reduce this problem. So when I was writing that article, I came up with the idea that how come we can reduce this poverty level. If you see, there is another analysis of World Bank that in the current pandemic situation faced by the world, it is time for Islamic financial system to promote small business of the society who are contributing around 50% of the employment worldwide. Means if we see the small businesses, shopkeepers, restaurants, like if we see like grocery shops, these all people are like having their own cash flows, and during that lockdown they use their cash flows in for day-to-day activities. Now when they will restart their businesses, most of them will be having a cash flow issues. uh, my proposal right now, which I'm working right now and I'm discussing, is a bit different. And as I discussed earlier, and I'm just giving one disclaimer here, that it is not regarding the Sharia compliance or not discussed with any Sharia expert to have a Sharia vetting on it. But if we see, we Muslims are giving a lot of charities during in this pandemic situation. Many people gave a lot of charities. Okay, ration bags were distributed, cash was distributed, medical bills were paid, electric bills, utilities were paid by other people, but all these were expensed out. None of the people have their own sustainable model, like how to sustain themselves if the pandemic is going off. After that, what they will do, how they will move on, how they will change this thing. So if we see that thing, so what the innovative things we can do it for them. So I have a different concept here which I'm going to share. Is proposed model is that if what we are paying in charity, not I'm talking about zakat and other things, a simple charity amount we are paying a lot of different institutes like hospitals and this, and all this is expensed out, and again we are earning and again we are giving the charity. So what if we contribute all this type of charities with some financial institution where these charities will be collected, and this charity will be for the sustainable model. This charity will be there, and this charity will be collected there as normal account holder. For example, Mr. A is account holder in that institute where he is contributing his regular charitable amount, and that charitable amount which is there, he will, that amount will be invested, and from that amount which is saved there, the financial institution will help to needy person to establish their own businesses. Okay, there must be a question in mind that okay, is the charity can be saved or not saved? See, the concept what I want to share is okay, I'm not discussing about the compulsory charity from Sharia perspective, but day-to-day charity which we are doing from our own pocket. If we save this charity, and the sizable amount will be saved, and from that amount small or medium businesses will be facilitated for their cash flow needs through Sharia compliant alternatives. For example, we will have one wakala pool of that charity account, and obviously that wakala pool will be high risk. Basically, intention of the stakeholder who is giving charity is To pay charity, that means intention is to pay it off, means expense out from your pocket. You are thinking to expense it out. Once it is going to expense it out, that means you are ready to invest that money in high risk pool. Means if your money will not refund, it's fine. That means ke you are already write it off on your pocket. That means ki you are ready to invest that amount, and from that amount, FI, any financial institution, will finance some shopkeeper or some hawker or some ice cream trolley or any this type of thing. From there, their business will start. So from that amount which we are purchasing ration bag, and the family is utilizing it and finish. Tomorrow family again need that ration bag if they don't have a financial situation, if they are not financially established. If they are not financially established, that means that they will go for they will go for a financial need. If they will go for financial need, that means again you have to expense it out. And if from that amount, if he or she have her or his own some small business, that means they can have their, not in first month or second month, but at least third or fourth month, they have their own sustainable financial financial generating income. That means that once we have a pool of income from where we will finance the small businesses, and from that businesses, the business person or the stakeholder who is taking financing from financial institution will return back that money along with some amount. For example, if we are doing some Sharia compliant model of musharka or like murabaha or any mode, so he will pay back. But for taking financing, he or she will not require to give any collateral, and he or she have a easy financial repayment plan. So if you see, what I'm trying to elaborate is that if on a one side of the transaction, your charitable amount which was just expensed out is now, which was just expensed out. Okay, sorry, there is a message from Rashid Mahmood. He is not able to hear. Rashid, please enable the join call button, then you will be able to listen us. Okay, so from that wakala amount or mudarba amount which we deposited in account, which was with the intention that okay, if I am not getting it back, it's fine because it's already for the charitable purpose. But what if from that account you are making one family to generate its own income, rather our charity is going to expense out? With there is a research that I'm just giving the example of Pakistan right now. Pakistan is among like top 5 countries who is giving charity as per their GDP. Among top 5 country, Pakistan is there. That means that we are paying a lot of charity. But still, if we are going towards any traffic signals, and there are so many people, white collar people, who are not able to beg, but still they need money to feed their families, and many people at night sleeping without food right now. If from that fund, which we can make it through waqf also, through wakala also, through mudarba also, any this type of pool of funds which can be made, and we start distributing that money, or not distributing, financing that money to small businesses. So what will happen now? This family will generate income and repay that to the pool, and this pool will increase day by day. For example, if they will repay and again charity is collected, day first the pool size was, for example, $1,000. After 5 months, if repayments is coming, so first month we were able to feed one family, but after 5 months, we can able to feed 10 families, rather again and again feeding same family by giving the charity. So it is increasing all over the it is increasing the pool size, and it is increasing the number of families where we are connecting. Okay. Uh, Now I'm discussing some concept again here. See, in this proposed model, you guys might ask a question, or there is must be in your mind that how can the charity capitalized? There are different modes available. Okay, we can give this money to work from where this money is not repayable to us. Again, the money is expensed out from your side, but that work can utilize that money to feed these families through financial model. Or if there is not the intention of compulsory charity, there is a enoughly charity, we can say. For example, daily we are giving around, average people is giving around 10 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees to any family per month. If we see right now, there are many people in this society gave a lot of payments. Like if we see 6 to 7 NGOs only distributed millions of PKR to this people, needy people, ration bags and cash and many things. But what happened? This all is already expensed out. We not able to make some stable or some sustainable model from where the money itself generating the money and helping the more and more people. So in this model, again, I am elaborating, say, for example, return to investment account holders through Mudarba or Wakala. Capital of IAH investment account holder will be from day-to-day charity amount. And obviously, it is a high-risk investment. But on the other hand, Islamic financial products to reduce poverty. For example, again, I am giving the hawker. We can have a like ice cream trolley, which is costing around 15,000 PKR. Okay, in this 15,000 PKR, if the person is able to sell around, like for example, 3 to 4,000 rupees daily, he can generate 500 rupees per day. Okay, now we have observed that many people finance these rickshaws, but these rickshaws are like right now Kareem is oscillating that thing. So we should come up with the idea where they have a different and sustainable plan. For example, we can have them for some food chain, small food chains where like they can have their hawkers for burgers. That model I proposed in 2015, and one of the NGO is right now using that model, where they are using hawkers. They are giving a branded trolleys of burgers, and these people are going in the like area where there are too many offices. They are selling their burgers and they are earning. So obviously, this type of plan, which is making up society on self-sustainable model rather on the expense model. Okay, obviously we will not charge them the like interest rates are like going up, so we are Islamic banks are using the same benchmark, obviously not. For example, like right now the benchmark is X, so we will not charge them X, it is like 2 or 3% because we want to run this model sustainable. Okay, if we are giving curves, there are curves models also. There are somebody had a discussion with me in Pakistan. Yes, one of the NGO is working with the curves based model. If curves based model is there, it is very good. If but there is not the intention of generation of business. So if there is an intention of generation of business, so there is win-win for both parties. If there is a girl, obviously the poor girl in the society, many people are talking about for to give them the money to for marry her. What about that money? That money is just expensed out. If that money is utilized to make some business model for their family from where they will earn, and they will make their own, they will able to fulfill their own wishes by their own business. If we work on this type of model where both stakeholders, giver and taker, have a sustainable model, then it will help the society to elevate the poverty. That is a simple concept or simple thing which I would like to present and I would like to share. Now I'll discuss the business benefits. What are the benefits of this thing? See, charity can feed a family once, as I discussed, or twice, but will not contribute towards the economic development of family nor the society. And if we are givers, I have many examples with us that if we are making people takers. So they are slowly, gradually be able not to work because they having, unfortunately, not all, 1% of them are used to take money and without any efforts. We are right now, if we see on a traffic signal, we are not purchasing the goods from the people who is distributing the, who is selling newspaper or anything else, but we are easily giving from our pocket from 10 rupees to 100 or sometimes 500 rupees, who is coming up with the giving like God will help you, God will give you this, and with all this emotion we are taking out this money and we are giving to the beggar, but we don't know what is the utilization of that money. We are not contributing towards the development of society. If we see only one traffic signal in Karachi, the income of that traffic signal, the mafia is taking the income from that traffic signal is more than 5 to 6 lakhs per day. If that amount is going to drain, it is not utilizing. If that amount we collect and we distribute, we make a pool, and from that pool we will make a family to start their own business. If the business of the same family is re-established from the IB financing, Islamic banking financing or Islamic financing, it will be a continuous source of income to them. See, once he has or she has a continuous source of income from that pool, tomorrow he or she will able to contribute for financing other people from that pool. So we are not talking about to make one family established. We are here talking about multiplier effect. Further, by starting one business, several employment opportunities will open within that business. An independent industry as well as which will create more employment, thus become responsible for the income of many families. For example, if we are having one person who is starting a small hawker of food, obviously from that food he alone cannot handle this thing. He will appoint a guy who will help him. He will give some reasonable salary. So from that thing, again, if we see, rather expensing out the money, we are contributing towards a society in a multiplier effect. One small industry, many people will get fee from them. The education of that family will start. They will able to pay their own utilities, their own medical bills. This all will be generating income, and once they have their own income, they are able to contribute towards the society. Rather, they are more burden on the society. Third thing, the major benefit will be the achievement of higher objectives of Sharia by entering into the Mudarma model, as I discussed, whereby investor is willing to take high risk on its investment. Right now, with all due respect, it's not the critics, but if we see in Islamic financial system, what we are doing from last 20 years, that none of the investment account holder is in his mind that he is taking the risk of business. All in his mind is he's taking the risk on bank. Okay, I'm not saying it is wrong. Obviously, it is a Sharia compliant model. But if you see, rights of the shareholders of that bank and rights of the investment account holders of that banks are still not very much clear. Banks are earning a lot of money right now. Rate of return during that pandemic, rate of return, average rate of return of March results and now June results are more than 15 to 18%. But what investment account holders are getting? Obviously, they are taking low risk, but the return is not that much, which is like they can have by a direct equity participation. If we talk about this model, they are directly, if we are going towards equity participation and the direct risk and reward from that pool they are taking, obviously it is increasing their more interest or more like if we say like comfort, that right now there are many questions on us. But from this model, if we are going directly equity financing model concept, obviously there is a high risk. But with this risk, there are two things. One is return on investment in Akhirah and return on investment here in Dunya also. If we see again now, the fourth objective, which like benefit, although there is a higher rate of default in such financing, the amount contributed was already charity niya. So it will not affect the investor's expectation. But here I can say Why I'm saying it is a high risk, but that obviously we have not tested this model yet in market, so people might be not able to repay back. But what is the concept? Our intention is already charity, that we are going to give it in a charity purposes. Here I will give you one case study of one conventional microfinance in Bangladesh. The default rate is less than 5%. If we see, we are giving a small financing. Obviously, the pool is bigger with a small financing. The total hit, if we see 30% even effect, 40% effect on the balance sheet, but still this model have a sustainable growth. People, with all due respect, small people are very much good in repaying their financing, because one example I have of one microfinance guy, he was discussing that they gave some amount to a person, and that person in his business, when the repayment time was there, a microfinance collector went his home for just reminder. And for this reminder, not he was default, only reminder, and he was feeling so guilt due to the society pressure. He repaid his amount on due date. Obviously the society pressure, that when the collecting officer is going to someone else's house, obviously they are feeling guilt. So in this all situation, they are thinking, okay, we have some respect in this society. So like if we see this category, there is more respect than the default. So our my personal experience is the people are using it. In case of recovery rate is good, then the Islamic banking or financial institution industry can change their business model permanently to satisfy the requirement of shareholders and improving the perception of Islamic banking. Because right now, if we see, I have idea. I did one research where 60 to 70% of the book size is with the corporate banking or with sukuk or with the high net worth customers. But still, in our society, this segment is still neglected. This segment is either in the hands of conventional financings. If you see, with all due respect, there are like mobile operators. They are using microfinance model by name only, just for the sake they need cash distribution channels. So microfinance objectives are still not, we are not able to achieve that objective. If we go in our society, many people we are going to buy groceries or vegetable market, we are arguing to pay them 10 rupees extra. But when we are going to purchase some branded store, we are not arguing them. That is like on many social media, social institution, we are seeing this thing that people are arguing on different models. But still, we are not ready. We are doing ihsan. We are ready to help by giving charity, but we are not ready to give some sustainable model. Okay, I'm gonna discuss this thing, that if I'm not ready to give it like from the banking system, why not we each individually start one small opportunity for one person nearby us? For example, in our immediate family, somebody is in need to establish a business, and we have. I'm sorry for interruption. There was some internet disconnect. Okay, so that I was discussing, that what we are doing, what we want to do. We just wanted to understand that system. We here what I'm talking about is to change our daily system. And if we are able to get it, for example, I was giving the example that if in our nearby somebody would like to invest in some business, so what can we do? We can do, okay, if we have 20,000, 10,000, 15,000, whatsoever is extra amount with us, we start a business with them in partnership. Okay, we write a contract, okay, and we as a mudarib or as a wakala, whatsoever, we start a business with them. What will happen tomorrow if that business is successful? That business is able to give you return also, and that business will help others to start the economic cycle. So that is my request, humble request, that we can do that type of small financial model with our nearbys, and if we can talk about with the people in our nearbys to come up with this type of some solution, some institution, some microfinance level, or on some private level, or whatsoever model we can do, at least we start up with something. That is my humble submission. Now I am open for question answer sessions on Facebook also, and Zoom also. So if somebody have questions, kindly ask me in chat box. I hope this session have some fruitful for you all people who are attending this session with us. Okay, if there is no questions, so now I would like to wrap up this session with this intention that we all will start something from our own home, from our own self, and we will come up with some different and innovative solutions. Okay, there is a question, how it is it different from conventional banking? Okay, in conventional banking, we have a straight conventional fixed interest rate model. Like if somebody is defaulted, or if either it is not utilized for business or whatsoever, financial institution or the pool of fund have to repay fixed profit or fixed interest to them. But if there is something different, okay, in conventional bank, like in Islamic bank, if there is a loss, so loss will be passed on to the pool. So there is no pressure on the pool or the financial institution to pay back from the both side. It is a basically venture from giver and taker. If there is a default from taker side, the giver is having also facing the risk, but the intermediary will be have a sustainable model for both of them. There is some question from Samir, I think. Samir, are you asking me some question? Please write me in chat box. Okay. As you are aware, these days banks are more of business oriented. In this model, what is the benefit for the bank? Obviously, yes. The benefit of the bank is it is not curse based model, number one. Number two, it is a profitable venture where the banks can own a small pool of fund they can start, which is a remunerative revenue generating pool. If there is a revenue generating, for example, from the business, x percentage is earned, the bank can have its own mudarba share or wakala share as in other products, and the rest will pass on to the investment account holders. So bank have, number one, their CSR responsibility, corporate social responsibility, number one, and number two is a profit to the banks, the mudarba share or wakala share to the banks. So here it is a win-win situation for giver, taker, and intermediary. They all have a win-win situation. In case of default also, basically banks are nothing to do with it, because default will be directly passed on to the giver. So banks are not at the higher risk, because the giver is coming up with the intention either this amount will go for default or whatsoever. If it is recovered, they are very happy. If it is not, their niya is for the charitable purposes. Okay, there is one more question here. Moreover, manpower is required to manage this model. Can the profit be used to pay their salary? Obviously, if the manpower is required, the see right now what the banks are doing, microfinance, basically they have a huge field forces. If we use here, obviously the manpower and digitalization. Right now, wallets are there. We go towards a fintech in right if I'll give you one example of Somaliland is not Somalia, it is a Somaliland is near Somalia, there is independent land, and I met with their management. There was a bank's management, and I was very much amazed to see that fintech they are using on airport. They don't have the conveyor belt, they are using the man-made belt. Mans are passing the baggage to the other. But if you will go to the taxi, you are not required to pay cash. You are required to pay through mobile wallet. Okay, so obviously we can invest. The model is saying that we can invest in manpower and technology both, and that manpower and technology cost will be recovered from where? From this profit. Because if we are entering into any business, there is something which is different. Obviously businesses are for profit generating, so this model is pure commercial model with the intention to help to reduce poverty in the world. Is there any other question? Okay, there is one other question here on Facebook, that how this model can be sustainable in case of default. See, what I discussed earlier also, okay, how this sustainability will be there, that continuous inflow in the pool is required. God forbid, in case of default, charity is coming there. Obviously, this charity is coming there, that is an inflow. If inflow is there and you have a strong assets, like if the out of five, four business are or three business are in profit, that means that we can have to generate a sustainable model. Okay, the income is generated from charity fund. Is there a fatwa for generating income from this fund? Okay, this question is very much valid, and it is in my mind that how can we use this charitable purposes funds in our normal businesses. Okay, charity cannot be compulsory charity, I'm not asking, but I'm asking about the nafli charity, I can say, or with the intention that okay, we are giving something to the poor. So in this thing, we are not saying that the actual essence of charity. And before like having this, we are going towards this sharing this model with some Sharia experts also. But Nafli charity can be utilized for Waqf also. Waqf can be utilized for personal use also. Waqf can be utilized for the public use also, or institution. So this is not practically. I'm talking about the compulsory charity like zakat and this type of thing. I'm talking about the day-to-day charity we are doing. So rather you expensing out that charity will be built on the income. So either this income on charity will be utilized for own purposes also. There is a discussion, and I had a discussion with Sharia scholars. They are saying if the charity intention of charity is nafla, okay, if it is nafla, then it can be utilized. If it is not, then it will increase the size of pool. You contributed $100, tomorrow it will be 105. So from your basically intention, your contribution is increasing day by day after having these funds. So this is one of the concept here. Okay, is there any bank which has shown interest to adopt this model as of today? No, unfortunately not. My article was published in June 2020, and then it is my first session I am doing. I have not yet discussed with any bank right now. First, I am taking the public opinion through this type of sessions, that either is it useful, and if we can test on our individual basis, it will be helpful. But yes, if any person attending the session would like to propose this model to their bank, I am ready to give this presentation to them. They can present this model to their bank, and all write up I can share. You can email us on a financiero consultants@gmail.com. We will share this presentation and also article, and in future if write up or financial model is required, we will make and we will share this thing also. Any other question? I think now I would like to wrap up this session with the hope that inshallah we all will start something from our own sources, and a small pilot project we will start, and we will hope that this model will have its own success inshallah. Thank you very much, all participants here on Facebook, on different platform where I am live right now. And thank you very much for Financial Consultants for giving me this opportunity to share this my model. And again, in last, if anybody would like to have my article or this presentation, kindly send us an email at financiero.consultants at gmail.com or trainings at financiero.consultants.com. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Allah Hafiz.